This is part 3 of the Hazbin Hotel characters with their issues, mental issues. Again, I will be joined by Angela Esquilin, a mental health counselor. And welcome back again. This is the third Zoom for Hazbin Hotel characters and their mental issues and regular issues. Now we're going to be discussing Velvet, the only female member of the V's. Now, Velvet is hard to diagnose, but people are assuming that she has Down syndrome. She has sadism, she has impulsiveness, arrogance, control issues, and insecurities. Seeing how she's from Britain, we know her accent. She's also black. You can tell with her attitude and characteristics, and she's actually a mannequin, which makes people think that she has doll issues. Now we know she is stuck up and snooty. We've seen that. Now doll issues pretty much have seated shame, which is deeply hidden, emotional distance, suppression of self, and relationship issues, and lack of agency. Sadism, we've seen that the violence and arrogance in her manipulation. We've seen it in the first episode of season 2 with her and Val and Vauxhall with that girl. Impulsiveness, we see that all the time with Velvet. She doesn't care if she runs her mouth like she did with Carmela in the meeting. Very disrespectful to all the other overlords, especially Carmela. Her arrogance, she's snooty, she's stuck up, she thinks she's the crap. She's considered the internet witch. You can see she has control issues like all the other V's. She has to be in control. And insecurity issues, self-doubt, fear of rejection, and jealousy and possessiveness. Have you seen any of these characteristics in Velvet?
It's hard to determine because I really didn't pay much attention to that particular one. But based on what people are saying, and that she is like a follower, not a leader, is that basically that?
Now she is a leader. She's like she has some characteristics of like Val and Vox have. She's the only female member. You've seen the disrespect she showed towards the overlords in their meeting. You've seen how despite that actually, she shuts up when she wants to say something, she shuts her mouth. When Vox is always talking. There's something she wants to say, but you see her a lot of times shuts it up. And though I'm not a therapist, I have some experience in it because I did take some classes, but I'm also had insecurity issues that it seems that she has slight insecurity issues, not 100%. And control issues, you see it, she has to be in charge. She's mean, she doesn't give a crap. She don't have no empathy for her models because she's a fashionista. And she is like the internet witch. She brought internet to hell. When Vox bought TV, she bought internet.
Okay.
Val Lauren. So that's why they all became one, like concept of the entertainment pretty much industry. All they were missing was radio or music. Yep, which he wanted to do with Alistair in season 1 and 2, and Alistair, no. But again, her characteristics, she is a little bit stuck up. The Down syndrome, people see that it could be she was a witch, definitely known. She makes Valentino's little thing he be throwing at people. She makes the potions. She controls it, and again, she's an internet witch. What kind of people you think could relate to this particular character? Because she is a fashionista. She does not even care.
She does people
about Val, though. She does care about Val. She did care about Vox.
People who have no empathy towards others, who just all about themselves. Now, like you said, she made a connection with 2 of the characters. You said Vox and Val. But again, that doesn't clarify that she's still about herself. it's hard to determine all these different things because again, I don't have that much I'm not too familiar with her character that much, but I will say based on what you're telling me, yeah, there's going to be somebody like that. Unfortunately, we do have people out there who have no compassion for others, who are not empathic. So yeah, unfortunately.
Now, Luke, which is the angel that's Adam's right hand, the female. She's seen throughout season 1. She's the one that tore off Baggy's wings and ripped her eye out. She actually killed one of Charlie's little goats. They turned into dragons because, long story short, Lucifer made them from stuffed animals. They were stuffed animals he brought to life. So they created the hell creatures. She killed him. There's no bringing him back. He's dead. One of them. And no remorse. You don't see her. She takes thrill in killing sinners. You see all that. And you see in when Adam is killed in season 1, Lucifer showed empathy and let them leave. And what happened is Luke couldn't take the loss. In season 2, she has a song just for her called Gravity, because now she's hallucinating. Adam is wiped out of existence. He is dead. There's no bringing back a dead person. There's no double dead. You're completely gone. You're like in the nothingness, in the void, pretty much. Mm-hmm. For a quick example, Supernatural had the void is where you kill all the souls and wipe them out. That's where they go. There's no coming back from that. Realistically, there isn't. And now she's seeing Adam everywhere she goes. And she wants vengeance so bad. She wants to kill Vaggie and make Charlie suffer. So people are assuming that she has PTSD, rage issues, violent obsession, grief, loss of purpose. She's deteriorating her stability where she's losing her mind, like she's becoming schizophrenic from the event. And she's refusing to heal. Seeing her characteristics, we know she's cruel from just season 1. And what she did to Vaggie and the little dragon that transformed for save them. Now, do you think that these descriptions are what Luke is going through and has these issues?
Well, she was close with Adam.
In love with him.
So she was in love with him. And sometimes when people die, they can't accept it. So yes, she is grieving. And she's blaming everybody what happened to him. And she wants to kill off and get revenge because that's when the anger comes in. And I know we go through a list of emotions when somebody dies. So I believe there's people out there, when somebody passes away, they won't accept the fact that they're gone. They see them, they hear them in the, they hear their voice, they see them in the dreams, and it's hard to accept that person is gone. And there's I think it's 4 stages of grief, but definitely denial.
There's 5. There's 5
5?
grief. Yeah, there is.
Okay, I don't remember all of them.
One of my books that had it, the stages of grief for a chapter. So yeah, there is. I forgot what they are though, but depression, denial, acceptance is the final one, but there's 2 more in between or so. But with Luke, not just that, we know she is naturally just a cruel woman. And there are people like that, sadly. But do you think that I've heard in even shows like victim units, right, have distributed this, that you can, I'm going to ask you, this is true or not. Law on the victim unit stated it. But mind you, remember, they're based in reality, but they're not all real. So I'm asking you this. Do you know or think that people who suffer a severe life trauma can gain schizophrenia from it?
Something traumatic can happen to them, yes.
So with the way she's seeing Adam, she's not just seeing him in her dreams. She's seeing him physically, like he's there.
Hallucinating.
Yes, she's extremely hallucinating. Like She's even asked him, "Oh, did you know?" He goes, "The F if I know, because I'm your hallucination." But she's not accepting that it's a hallucination when you know it is. Do you think that she might be developing schizophrenia?
It can happen when something really traumatic happens, some type of trauma to the brain. It can happen.
Now, seeing how she is, what type of people do you think might be able to relate to this character?
Well, she's pretty mean.
Yes, she is, naturally.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who may not be mean who can identify because of the mourning, the grieving process. Mm-hmm. They might relate to that aspect. Then you have the narcissistic people with no empathy towards others who may identify with that side of her. So again, it depends on the person, the illness, what they've gone through.
All right, now we're going to move on to Sarah, who is the leader of Heaven. In season 1, she did hear Charlie out when Lucifer asked for a meeting for her. And her diagnosis supposedly is anxiety, protectiveness, control issues, decision making, guilt, moral conflict, responsibility, and complex leadership. I know we can see any leader has anxiety. Any form of a power leader who really cares enough has anxiety for their people, or for like a ruler or something like that. They really care for the people. They have some form of anxiety. And that concept, usually. The protectiveness, we can see that with Emily. She loves her like that's her sister. It looks like a daughter, but it's her sister. She loves her to death. She's trying to protect her, protect Heaven. The control issues. I know there's a lot of perfectionism. Yes, it's Heaven. It has to be perfect. It's Heaven. Nothing bad can be in Heaven. And decision making. Remember, she left it all up to Adam for the exorcism. She let him do what he wanted. And the guilt we see in season 2. I mean, I know you've seen some of it where she is the eyes of God. That's what she is. She knows what's going to happen before it happens, but she's not really supposed to intervene in it. Yet she has some free will because she's her own person, her own being, more or less. But she feels, it seems like she feels guilt. And so when the voice of God, Grace, came up, she explained that she was guilt. How many sinners did I allow to be killed when they could have really been redeemed? How do I know if they could have been redeemed? And I have to let this play out. I can't stop this from playing out. Like, it is in one of her songs. And that's when you see Sir Pentious kind of identifies with her more. They form a form of a friendship. Because he helps her overcome some of her guilt in the aspect of it and helps her understand her responsibilities. The moral conflict with this character, it looks like when we see that she sees that sinners can be redeemed, but she feels like, yeah, they can, but that makes no sense, because once you're in hell, you're in hell. How, which would kind of make it in the complex leadership, all the other stuff for that. Seeing all of this, hearing all this, and seeing what you've seen, do you believe this is really what she's going through?
It's hard to determine. Certain things, like I said, certain characters I didn't get to know as much as I wanted to, but it could be the fact that she is going through and what she's gone through. And can other people identify? Again, it depends on the character, what the characteristics are, the personality traits have a lot to do with it. Now, again, because I'm not familiar with this particular person or character, I could say there's always somebody out there who may be able to identify with one of these characters no matter what. Now, on what extent, I'm not sure.
All right, Emily, which is the little angel, the tiny one that's always hyped up and happy, she kind of has some issues. She has the joyous idealism and emotional distress due to the changing Heaven status quo. That's why. Now, the high empathy, the high sensitivity, profound optimism, profound purpose, inner value, orientation. All that is joy idealism. And seeing how you've seen Emily, everybody's seen Emily. She's always hyper blazing. Everybody's happy. Everything's perfect. Do you honestly think that is her biggest issue?
Well, people can be happy, but if they're over ecstatic, that could be a form of denial of what's really going on. It's also like a facade.
Mm-hmm. But she's the angel. She's the one of the happy angels, the innocent considered, right? Because they've seen that. She might have some trauma, but it seems she might be hiding it because of what happened in season 2. I know there are people who are always like that, who might be able to relate to her. There's a ton of people like that are always happy. Have, even if everything's bad, there's always a positive side of everything. There's tons of people like that.
It's also a facade, because what they're really feeling, they don't want to display. People might take them as being weak. So yeah, yippee, everything happy-go-lucky. But inside, you don't know what they're really going through.
Now, season 2 brought a new character, the son of Adam, Abel. Since Adam is dead, Abel is the new exorcist leader. Now, he seems to appear to have trauma from being the first murder victim in existence, complex sibling dynamics, anxiety, and parental pressure. Mind you, this is Abel, one of the very first, children in history. Throughout the series, in the season 2, he is seen like he's laid back, he don't care, but there's moments you see that Ulu talks down to him like he's nothing, and he's a new leader. Mind you, he's our new leader. And there's a moment towards the final episode where they're supposed to go down and bring Emily back, but Emily's trying to save hell and help them all. So all the overlords are coming together, and Emily is helping them. And if they take her, everything is wiped out of the whole area. That whole part of the pentagram is gone. And they're trying everything to keep her there. Even Emily herself and Luke don't want to hear it, trying to start a fight with Baggy. And Abel is panicking. His nose bleeding. He's hyperventilating. He's sweating. He's hiding under the table. And one of the other songs, he said he's going to shit his pants. He feels that way. He said that I'm not my father's favorite son. I'm not the strongest son. And all these things he's showing and he's panicking about and admitting when he's honestly in a panic mode. Does this seem that he has these issues? The trauma, we do know he's the first murder victim. That makes sense. That's going to be one.
Yeah. Because this is the first time he experienced all this stuff. Again, you said he's a child, right?
Abel is young. He has to be in his late teens, early 20s. He's still very young.
Okay, so of course this is all new to him. Yeah, it could happen. If you look at things going on today, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but you have a lot of young adults, teenagers, who have so much trauma, or they're going through so much, or they're being bullied, and they end up, taking their own life. So it could happen. People may be able to identify or relate, and again, hopefully there's some positivity coming out of these characters that, and also the fans can relate to.
It is, because Abel stands up at the end. He comes into his own. He's like, you know what? I don't care. He gets up. He puts the thing that Adam had on, the exorcist hat, helmet, whatever, and he tells Lou to get her ass in line and go back to heaven. Leave her here. He stands. He finally overcomes his own fear of anxiety and steps into his role in his own way. Because he felt like he wasn't that. I know people can definitely relate to sibling issues. Definitely. They can relate to parental pressure as well, and anxiety, and not feeling like you're enough. Everybody can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to move on to Rosie. Rosie is the cannibal woman who gives the persona from Hello Dolly, like voice of a New Yorker, and she's like from a saloon era, more or less, the way she dresses. She runs Cannibal Town. It's shown in season 1. She's not really seeing much. She's seeing a little bit in Overlord meeting, and she's seen with Alistair brings Charlie to her at the end of towards the end of season 1 for guidance because he don't have the patience for her. And what happens is we see Rosie's husband died, right? He was killed in the Exodus. You don't see her upset or sad. She just crosses his name off the building like it's nothing. So it's kind of you're seeing she has callousness towards death, like she just don't even care. You do see her empathy towards Charlie, especially trying to help her and guide her. And you hear in a song with Alistair and her that yes, if they stick with her, they get more power, which is true. And he said she has potential, he can guide perfectly. But she also has sadistic views when she's a cannibal. That's another thing. And in trauma, I know it could be due to had a lot of issues when she was alive. She did kill her first husband, so it could have been abuse. It could have been abuse. Why? And she does manipulate the hell out of Alistair in season 2. That's a huge point. She manipulated him. He knew when he sold his soul to her. She was just very surprised that an actual human being got across to the other side and was skipping the rigmaroles of the contract and just tossing it to the wind saying, listen, I don't give a crap. But she started toying with him even though he was faithful for over an age and did everything she asked him to do. She took away his power. She was just gaslighting him, and she took away a lot of things from him and not giving him a reason why. And then refusal to fix his staff. But at the end, she does show empathy towards everybody else when he threatens them all die and not help. And you can also see, despite her attitude towards his callousness, she's disgusted. She has to respect him in her own right. She gives him his respect. Now, do you think that people could understand and relate to her? Because she does give kind of a motherly bond in a roundabout way. But also, all these issues that people have gone through can kind of make you similar sadistic, from your traumas or callousness or death. Do you think that she seems like a relatable character to others? I know some characters can be related to almost every character, but not every character is relatable. They can be, but they're not. Rosie's like one of those mamas who are like nice and sweet mom, you think of, but at the end of the day, they have a side where they're dark and manipulative. You know what I mean? Something like that. But not to you, but to somebody else. So if you had to guess a person that could relate to this kind of character, who would it be?
Somebody who is like, okay, according to what you're saying, she's a loving person, but then she also can get upset, right? You said that she can really be out there. It's somebody who could be a passive-aggressive personality. That can also be, they're very nice, but they can also flip. So I would say somebody with a passive-aggressive personality might be able to identify with this woman.
Now we're going to move on to Carmela Carbine. Carmela's story is kind of iffy depending who you're talking to. Even the creator didn't give you a full 1-1. But the briefness of it, when she was killed, and something she did have to do with her daughters being killed. And they all ended up held together. Fan theories, mind you said fan theories, is that she was an arms dealer because how big her arms are. And that she got caught with a cartel wrong, and her daughters refused to not join her. They wanted to join her, she let them, and they all died. And her trauma is believed to be guilt, PTSD, protective trauma, stress, and internal conflict. Now, knowing that she's a mother who does not care for anything but her children at the end of the day. Hearing these factors she has, and knowing that regardless of which story is true, her kids were pretty much killed in front of her. Somehow her fault, even though they don't blame her for it. She's gonna guilt trip herself for it. What kind of person would be able to relate to this woman, especially a pair. We know mothers would. Let's be real. Any mother who loves their children would do anything for them in any universe, in any afterlife.
And in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And she was killed because she forced to be part of the cartel. So they took it out on her and the family. So anybody who has a fear of gang members and just wanted to stay to themselves, but was unfortunately killed because they refused to join, which sounds very familiar in places now. You know, you're kind of forced into the gang life. So people like that would be able to identify. Mothers who are in mourning would be able to identify. For mothers who try to protect their children and who wanted the children to stay alive, and they would be able to identify. It's a lot out there. And, you know, even now, you know, there's a woman, was it the week, April 1st? I think it was April 1st. A 7-month-old baby, her mother was pushing the baby, and the gangs, they shot at it was supposed to be for the father. They ended up killing the baby and shot her in the head. 7 months old, sitting in her stroller. Then her older brother, who was in the back, got gazed by the bullet too. So I'm pretty sure what this woman's gone through, this mother here in New York can identify with a lot of these issues. But she couldn't protect her baby. She was right there. So I would say somebody like that.
All right, we're going to move on to Lilith, the first woman who was equal to Adam. Lilith is seen very little in season 1, at the end actually, season 1, and very little in season 2. Season 1, she's just lounging at the beach in her own little world. Season 2, she looks like she's in the Garden of Eden, lounging around and ignoring her daughter's calls and not even listening to them or even reading her text. Now, Lilith is considered to have avoidance, manipulative control, self-serving, and narcissism. Do you believe that these characteristics are true, seeing what we've seen so far in Solo of Lilith?
Well, Lilith appeared to be a very strong, independent mindset woman. Now, she went with, she ended up meeting, according to the story, what I saw, she got with Lucifer. They both had these dreams and, fell in love. And then you have Charlie. Now, Lilith, for her to just walk away from her family like that, I'm still trying to figure that out, because that is a form of narcissism. You just not care about your children. After how many, 7 years already, they haven't spoken. And the only one she has some sort of relationship is her father, Lucifer. And I don't know what was mentally going on with her, for her just to disassociate herself from her daughter and her family.
Oh yeah, I know that. She, there's not a lot. There's a cliffhanger that she calls at the end of season 2. That's where she calls Charlie. But the aspect of the situation is this. Lilith took away Charlie when Charlie went to watch Lucifer when she was little. He was trying to show her something magical, and then she was awed by it. Lilith just comes in, picks her up, and takes her away, belligerently controlling any contact she has with her father. Yep. So she's a very arrogant woman, and we already know people who are arrogant, correct? Who just care about themselves will relate with someone like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Selfish, self-centered, me and myself and I type of person. Mm-hmm. Because she's not thinking about anybody else. So that's the type of person would identify.
We're going to move on to the biggest asshole in the series, the world's first man, Adam.
Last one?
Adam. More after
Two more?
2 more after this, and then we're done. Now, Adam is the first man. We've seen him throughout season 1. Everybody loves him. He has a big cock. Everybody has to be with him. He is considered to be a hypocrite, a narcissist, has control issues, insecurities, aggression, and distorted reality. Now, the hypocrite, we kind of see that, right? In season 1 with him, because he can do what he wants, and I'm the only one who can be in heaven and do what I want, and you can't. You know what I mean? The same sins you do, I'm doing now, and I get to do what I want up here, and you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hypocritical behavior. The narcissism, we see it. I'm the man. I'm the only one. I'm the first man.
Mm-hmm.
And
very modest, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Right now. So we see all these issues, and we know that Adam has them. Let's be real, right? He has these issues. Like, there's no way in hell that he does not have these issues. And he does seem to have poor hygiene and his own false ideas. We see that. He doesn't care. Like, he's so into himself that I don't know what to call him.
A jerk?
Or a douche, right? Okay. Now, you can tell me what kind of people would identify with a man like this.
I've seen them. The arrogance, the power tripping, and no respect for anybody, especially with females. I don't even socialize myself with those type of people, because it's just nothing there. There's no respect, and people just, nobody wants to be around that. So I don't know who can identify people like him. But
I have a question for you for this. What do you think he could have done different?
He could at least try to be civilized towards Charlie, especially when they're trying to do something positive. And, just simply bragging about the demons he killed, and, without any regards to anybody's feelings.
There was a moment in heaven where he said that particular things had to be set in stone for you to make it to heaven, because nobody knew what it had to do to come to heaven. Even Sarah said, Adam, you tell us then. And he said, you stick it to the man, you have to do this, you have to do that. So she turned around and they watched Angel. He did every single thing that Adam put on the list of his own volition, and he's still in hell. And Emily asked why, right? And Adam had no answer. So he didn't even know what got you to heaven. And do you think that if he honestly sat down with Lucifer or Charlie, because him and Lucifer can't stand each other, with Charlie, do you think that maybe, and he thought about, maybe she has a point, let's see if it works, let her try. What's the point in trying? What can you lose in trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem that he just enjoyed the killing too much to him to give it up?
Not only that, he just destroyed any good ideas or anything that would come out or may have a positive income. He shot it down.
The original reason for them to come out and have these exterminations was to prevent hell from rising. Now, as we see, these exterminations did the opposite. It made hell rise. Seeing angels could be killed would make you want to fight back. Defend your own soul, your existence. And Vox used that mechanism in season 2, as we saw. So, with Aspect, if you think one thing he could have done out of the whole season 1, besides listening to Charlie, what is the one thing you think Adam could have done that could have saved his own life?
I'm not sure.
All right, thank you for your time. We will be doing one final video where we'll be covering Lucifer and Alistair.